Hello everyone. So I'm just going to do a breakdown of my trade this week on the S&P for CPI on Tuesday. So coming into the week, I was extremely bullish this week. This was last week's candle and we had an extremely bullish close. If we drop to the daily chart, yeah, so Friday's close closed right at the high. There was no wick. So what I was thinking by this is that was going to be extremely bullish. I had all-time highs marked out here, which I thought we could reach to this week given Friday's close. For a target, I did expect, if I drop to the 1 hour, I did expect that Monday would actually gap open higher and already have taken Friday's and the previous week's high, just due to how bullish it closed, how strong it closed. I thought that would gap open higher and it would have already taken it. Luckily, actually, this didn't happen. We got a gap lower, as you can see, this 1 hour gap on Monday, and it had left Friday's high alone, which, given that I was extremely bullish and I knew this high was going to go at some point, was good news for me, really, because I thought maybe I can get positioned this week in a trade to go long higher, and that's exactly what happened on the Tuesday. So we had CPI coming out on the Tuesday, so I left Monday alone, I left Tuesday London alone, just given that I know leading up to CPI we're likely to get slow days and messy and choppy, so I wait for CPI to be the driver, really, and give me the direction. Monday took out Friday's low here, as you can see there. Monday took out Friday's liquidity and actually closed above Friday's low, so that was interesting also. That it took out Friday's liquidity and closed above the low. So I was bullish from the start of the week, knew this high would go. Monday took out Friday's liquidity, closed above Friday's low, which was also a bullish sign. And then it was just a case of waiting for CPI. And by this time, I was happy at this time because we still left this high alone. I thought that I could potentially get in the trade. Although this week I did have to be very patient, not only waiting until CPI, but also within the trade it was incredibly slow and messy. If I drop to the 5 minute and show my entry, I know that more often than not the CPI displacement candle is gonna continue the same direction, whichever way it displaces, more often than not anyway. So given that I knew this Friday's high and previous week's high was going to go this week, and that we'd left it alone until Monday, and that Monday's close took out liquidity and closed above, everything just screamed at me that was bullish. CPI confirmed that for me. As you can see, we got displacement on 8:30 CPI candle, and we'd still left this high alone, which was brilliant for me. And I got in from this 5 minute fair value gap here. As you can see, my stop was below the low just before CPI, with a target of Friday's high that was left alone. Also, we had this blue line was an old weekly swing high. If I just show you, so it was this old weekly swing high, which was equals with last week's high. Go back to the, we'll go to the hourly. So as I said, this trade made me really wait and test my patience this week. I don't usually hold trades overnight and look to be in a trade for that long across the course of 2 days, but I did decide to hold this one over to Wednesday and overnight, purely because I was so strong on the bias. I knew that this high was going to go, and I would just was so confident on my direction that I thought Wednesday I'm only going to be looking for the same trade anyway and trying to get into this high anyway. So why not just save the stress and the psychology issues and just hold the trade? So that's what I did. 9 a.m. we got my take profit, which I got out for a 1.2R risk to reward, which I'm happy with. Nothing wrong with a 1.2. More than happy with that. If you can get 1.2Rs consistently, you're gonna do well. But another thing what's interesting to note is this old weekly swing high, the blue line, which was also my target, was left alone after last week's high went. So luckily, when we got to last week's high, the yellow line, I did close the trade and I didn't bother waiting for this previous weekly swing high, purely because it's just a couple of ticks, which luckily I did close because, as you can see, it left it alone. It just took the one liquidity and left this one alone for the time being until Thursday Asia, where it took it. But that's just interesting to note, because if you are running in good profit and right near your target, just close the trade. Don't mess about and, you know, try and hold for the extra couple of ticks. It's not worth it, because this happens more often than not. And, you know, I'd have had to sit through all of this reversal, gone back into drawdown, being so close to my take profit, maybe even got stopped out at break even there, and until it eventually got it maybe 12 hours later. That's if I'd not been stopped out at break even and lost the trade. So if you're running so close to your target, just close the trade and get out. Another thing what's interesting to know is, I said at the start how bullish I was for this week and that my bias this week was incredibly bullish. Well, the week actually closed bearish and the week was bearish. So we put in the high on Thursday and the low on Friday. Just mark the weekly open quickly. The weekly open being there. So as you can see, the weekly candle was actually a bearish weekly candle. It just goes to show that I was wrong about my bias on the week being bullish, and I still made money. Just goes to show that you don't have to be right all the time, and you can still make money. You can be wrong and make money. I got in the trade, I got my target, and after that I didn't have really any targets or bias, so that was me done for the week, and obviously closed bearish. So I was wrong about the week and I still made money, which I'm absolutely fine with. So yeah, just don't get married to a bias. That's what I'm trying to say from that. Be adaptable. And yeah, just be willing to be wrong is the most important thing. You're going to be wrong majority of the time. Probably over 50% of the time you're going to be wrong. And that's fine. We can still make money. I actually did call this trade live before it happened on my Instagram page. If anybody is interested in going and checking that out, the link's in the bio to my Instagram page. Also in my bio, in my YouTube bio, is I've just opened a new completely free Telegram channel that anyone can join if you are interested in joining. Yeah, just to build a little community, maybe help the noobs if there's anyone interested in learning how I trade, and I'm more than happy to help people in there. I'll be uploading on this YouTube channel and in the Telegram group my weekly outlooks, any trade ideas and analysis. So yeah, if anyone's interested, subscribe to the YouTube channel and check out the Telegram link in the bio, and I'll see you in the next one.